A quick little shout out. My girlfriend Ida absolutely loves baking cakes. It's her big passion. She shares her creations on Instagram under the name Tartlabbet, which means the cake lab in Swedish. The posts and captions are in Swedish, so you might not understand what she's yapping about, but honestly, her creations and pictures speak for themselves. She's incredibly talented. Following her would mean the world to me. Thank you. Link to her Instagram is of course in the description. In March of 2021, I got a call from my cousin Danielle saying my mom had a stroke. Not a full collapse on the kitchen floor kind of thing. It was small, but the doctors said there were signs of vascular dementia. She wasn't making much sense at the hospital apparently. Kept calling one nurse Lana, which is her sister's name, even though Aunt Lana died back in 2012. Danielle said they couldn't release her to live on her own anymore. So I packed up a bag, called off work for 2 weeks, and drove from Chicago back to Traverse City, Michigan, where I grew up. I hadn't been back to the house in years. Not because of any big family rift or anything dramatic. Just life. Work, apartments, friends, distance. I'd call her on holidays, send the occasional birthday card. She'd always say, "You should come up sometime. I still make that lemon pie you like." But I never did. I figured this was the time. The house was like a frozen museum of my childhood. White siding, rusted wind chimes, dead plants hanging in ceramic pots on the porch. The screen door still jammed if you didn't pull it just right. The welcome mat said, "Bless this mess," and yeah, that was accurate. Inside, it smelled like dust, Bengay, and something faintly sweet. The old recliner was still in front of the TV, duct-taped at the seams. The fridge had a dozen expired yogurts and a jar of pickled eggs I'm convinced had been in there since I was 10. The first night, I slept in my old room. The bed frame was gone, just a bare mattress on the floor with a sun-bleached Winnie the Pooh sheet still stretched across it. My old bookshelf had become storage, stacked with unopened mail, empty pill bottles, and 2 unopened jars of peanut butter. The TV on the dresser still had the old stickers I'd put on it in middle school, "No Fear," and a faded Batman logo. It was weird being back, the kind of weird that makes your stomach feel a little off, even though nothing is technically wrong. The next morning I did boring adult stuff, made a list of what to donate, what to throw out, and what to pack. I brushed my teeth with the emergency toothbrush I always kept in my duffel. The bathroom was the same, cracked tile, foggy mirror, the same bottle of shampoo I swear she had in 2008. I ate toast over the sink, made instant coffee, burned it, drank it anyway. Then I started cleaning out drawers. Receipts from Maya going back to 1994. A check from someone named Gretchen for $12. A thank you card from a church group. Nothing interesting, just the debris of someone's life. All of it covered in a faint film of time. That went on for a couple of days. I visited her at the hospital in the evenings. She was in a recovery wing, half sedated. She'd drift in and out of clarity. 1 second asking me how work was going, the next asking if my dad would be picking her up. He died in 2003. She called me Mikey more than once. That was his name. Michael. I didn't correct her. It wasn't until day 3 that I went up into the attic. It was stupid, really. I was looking for photo albums. Figured I'd make a scrapbook or something to bring her. Maybe jog her memory. The attic door was the kind with the pull string and fold down stairs. Dust came raining down the second I yanked it. I climbed up with a flashlight. The bulb up there had been dead for who knows how long. Same low ceiling, same exposed nails. Duck or get impaled. I walked hunched over, stepping around boxes labeled Christmas and kids' clothes. The insulation was flaking in spots. There were mouse droppings in the corners. Everything smelled like cardboard and mildew and thyme. Then I saw a box tucked behind an old broken mirror, duct taped shut. No labels on it, except one word, written in thick black Sharpie. Forget. I froze. My hands got cold fast, like I was suddenly sick. My ears rang for a second. I don't know why that word hit me so hard, but it did. Something inside me clenched. I took the box downstairs. Inside were a few items. A bundle of old letters wrapped in twine, a shoebox full of unlabeled cassette tapes, and a single VHS tape in a plain white sleeve. There were no markings on the sleeve except a date written in ballpoint pen on the back. July 11th, 1999. That summer, I would have been 7 years old. I stared at that tape for probably 10 minutes, just sitting there on the carpet. Then I got up, blew the dust off the old VCR stacked under the TV and slid it in. Static. Then it cut to shaky handheld footage of our garage. The grainy kind of home video look that comes from old camcorders. In the center of the shot was a man tied to a folding chair. His arms were duct taped behind his back. His mouth was bleeding. His shirt was torn open. He was crying, and my mom stood in front of him, holding a knife. She looked blank, not angry, not panicked, just focused. She stepped forward and said something. There was no sound, but her mouth was moving fast. Her hand trembled. Then she held up the knife, and that's when I saw a kid walk into frame. Barefoot, in pajamas, holding my old stuffed rabbit, about 7 years old. It was me. I saw myself in that moment, the panic, the confusion. My little body shook. My hands were clenched in fists. I was screaming something, but the tape was still silent. The man in the chair tried to speak. You could see his mouth moving, the way he twisted. Then my mom raised the knife, and in one swift motion shoved it in his stomach. Not once, but over and over. His neck, his chest, his stomach. The knife slipped. Blood sprayed across the concrete. He spasmed. She didn't stop. I screamed louder. I could see it. My whole face crumpled like I couldn't even understand what I was seeing. Then she dropped the knife. She walked over to me, kneeled, hugged me, and whispered something in my ear. The screen cut to black. I didn't move for a long time. My body was frozen. My mouth tasted like metal. I started retching, but nothing came out. That was me. I had that stuffed rabbit until I was 9. I remembered the pajamas. I even remembered that garage, the old oil stains, the cracked window. But I didn't remember that night. I watched the tape again. I paused on the man's face. I didn't recognize him. I watched it a third time. I didn't even feel like a person anymore, just skin over static. Then I got in the car and drove to the hospital. She was asleep when I got there. Her mouth hung open a little. I sat next to her bed for maybe 20 minutes before she opened her eyes. She smiled. "Mikey," she said. I didn't correct her. "Do you remember July 11th, 1999? I asked. Her smile faded. Her lips twitched. Then she started laughing. Not a giggle, a deep, almost delighted laugh. You remembered. You finally remembered, she said, as clear-minded as any person could be. Who was he? She shrugged. Nobody. Some man. He came to the house when your father was gone on a trip for work. He tried to touch you. I stopped him. I stared at her. You begged me, she said. You were crying and screaming and begging me. You don't remember, but you did. I didn't respond. I had to make you forget, she said. I held you. I whispered it right into your ear. And it worked. Just like that. You were okay again. She looked proud. I did that for you. Back at the house, I went into the garage. The concrete floor looked the same, but there were dark spots and a couple of cracks under the workbench. I grabbed a crowbar and started smashing the floor. It took nearly 2 hours. Concrete dust in my eyes, blood on my palms from busted blisters. I finally hit something hollow. A rusted metal box. Inside were bones, burnt, cracked. Not a full skeleton, just parts. A jaw, a couple of ribs, a broken hand, and a knife wrapped in yellowed newspaper. I called the police. Forensics took the bones, the knife, the tape, everything. They never identified the man. No DNA match, no missing persons. It was as if he never existed. My mom was moved to a secure facility. I visited her once. She didn't recognize me. She just hummed something under her breath. An old lullaby I don't remember, but that made my skin crawl. I live in Chicago again. Work full-time, see a therapist every Thursday. We talk about repression, memory gaps, childhood trauma. But I still have dreams. Dreams where I'm the one holding the knife. When I walk into the garage, the man tied to the chair starts calling me by name. Sometimes I wake up and I swear I can still hear her, whispering in my ear. I made sure to record the screen with my phone camera before the cops took the tape. Sometimes I rewatch it. I don't know why. My mom passed away a couple weeks ago. The doctors told me her final words. You promised to forget. They said they didn't know what it meant. I brushed it off and told them it was the dementia. But I knew, of course. Now I remember what she whispered to me that night. Please. Please promise me to forget this ever happened. I love you. But I didn't. And now, I can't.